Namaskar. Today we're going to discuss a very interesting issue. It's an issue of sleeping while you're awake and remaining awake as you sleep. How confusing does that sound? Sleeping as you are awake and awakening or remaining awake as you sleep. Now, I am not talking about insomnia here. I'm not talking about that situation where someone is trying to go to sleep, trying to fall asleep, but has that disease or has that disability where one is unable to fall asleep even when one wants. That's called insomnia. And I'm not talking about that condition, nor am I talking about the situation where a person is, you know, dozing off in a classroom or in a meeting or in a typically happens in travel in a train or in a bus or sometimes you see people here in India even in crowded buses holding on to the handle and standing in a crowded bus. They're being jostled around but still dozing off. I'm not talking about that condition, which is you are awake, you're supposed to be awake, but you're sleeping. No, these are different issues. But what I'm talking about is a somewhat or a very different condition. The first one is about when you are awake as you sleep, which means that's a very profound condition. You need to train yourself in order to be in that condition. It's called Turiya. That condition, just like waking, dreaming, and sleeping, are kind of three states of our consciousness that we are all very introduced to, that we all know about. Waking, dreaming, and sleeping, three conditions. Similarly, there is a fourth condition that traditionally in India, in our traditions have been talked about. It is there in many of the religious ceremonies, in the mantras, in the spiritual traditions. The training is all about training oneself to attain what is called the Turiya Avastha. Turiya means that condition where your body, your prana, your energy, and your mind, man, tan, pran, man, your body, your physical entity, your energetic entity, your Shakti, and your mental entity. These three fall asleep. These three are resting completely, are at complete rest. But your consciousness is fully awake. That state of being is called Turiya. And it requires training to kind of be in that state, to learn how to get into that state. Just like you have to learn how to fall asleep, how to wake up, etc. You have to learn how to eat, drink, all of that. You might have forgotten, but all of that you learned. When you were born, the only thing that you knew was to suckle for milk. But all other forms of eating you had to actually learn slowly. So similarly, this particular condition of being in Turiya is something that has to be learned. Yoga Nidra, which is one of our 6 core practices, the Somno Magic, that practice is focused around this particular aspect of the sadhana, of the daily routine that we are trying to design and follow through this Karma Yoga for 21st Century's Fit for Life program. But also, that's another thing that I'm going to discuss later when we discuss about Yoga Nidra or Somno Magic. Today, I want to bring up the issue of a very interesting and a very, in some ways, I should say, humorous yet profound, and very also, on the one hand, humorous, on the other hand, very tragic issue of sleeping while we are awake. Now, how does that happen? Well, it happens all the time, and that's what I want to point out today, so that we are aware of this as it happens to all of us on our everyday lives, because the program is Fit for Life. This is about the journey of life itself. So it's a routine that we are cultivating in order to express, to become an expression, to understand first and then become an expression of the integrity of the good, the true, and the beautiful together. When we can integrate these three things together, three aspects together, the good, the true, and the beautiful, and we all can become an expression, a radiant expression of this integrity. That is what this sadhana paddhati is all about. Now, as we try to do that in our lives, it's very important to understand when we are making mistakes or what is going on in life. And for that, it's very important to understand all those situations where we think we are awake, but actually we are sleeping. So why do I say that? Let me explain it with a very simple and clear but profound example. An example which almost all of us have confronted sometime or the other, or if not directly ourselves, we have seen others confront this example. This is an example where either we ourselves, you, me, or someone very close to us, someone who's near and dear, as we say, to us, is hospitalized, has suddenly been diagnosed with something which is very, very debilitating, which is very deadly, let's say, and has been hospitalized. And the doctors, do all the tests and do all the diagnostic routine that they have to do. And then they come out and then they make you sit and then they tell you that, well, Mr. Sarkar or whatever, so and so, we are very sorry to tell you that there is very little chance that we can save you or we can save your XYZ, whatever the relationship is. Very little chance. There is a slim chance, but we want to give you hope. It's not completely hopeless. There is hope. And we want to try. But it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you whatever, 2 lakh rupees or 25 lakh rupees or 2 crore rupees. Here I'm talking about rupees because in India the currency is rupees, but if you're from any other culture, any other nation, whatever your currency makes sense to you, this might have happened. It's $10,000 or $100,000 or whatever, $1 million it's going to cost you. This whole medical procedure, including the medical procedure, the post operative routine and post care and all that together. This is going to be, you need to get ready with this kind of money. Now you may have your medical benefits, you may have your insurance and all that, but it's our duty to make you aware that this is what it's going to cost you, and maybe your medical insurance doesn't cover it. So please, can you organize? And I've seen this happen so many times that is the point when people suddenly realize the value of the life and they say, yes, the value of life is more. Now, whatever it may be, for someone for whom just $100 is a lot of money, and there are millions of people living on this planet for whom $100 is a lot of money. It's not just that they can muster up quickly. There are many, many more for whom $1,000 is huge, and so many more for whom $10,000 is out of bounds. Now, but at that point of time, all those people also take a decision that, well, somehow we got to organize this amount of money because we want to save life, because the life is more valuable than money. Now that's a point where people are very, very wont to make decisions in this manner. They don't find it very difficult. They say, okay, whatever we have to do, I might have saved up money, I have properties from my ancestors, or whatever I might have inherited, or all those kind of things they think of. I may ask my friends, ask my relatives to help me, I can take loans, whatever it takes, but let me organize that money required, because the value of life is more than money. Now, this decision is something that we take so easily. It seems like a normal decision, but only when we have been jolted, when we have been hit with that jolt, that take a decision. So that doctor sitting in front of us and telling us is doing the act of waking us up. It's like a jolt. What I'm talking about is all those other times in life when we are actually compromising on our lives and taking decisions, small and big decisions, which are eroding our lives just for the sake of money or for the sake of so many other things, which we would, when woken up by a doctor or by a situation in life, we would very easily not take that decision. Whereas normally we are leading life, everyday life, in a manner where we are compromising and taking decisions about eroding our lives, about making our lives less prosperous. Prosperous as in Not prosperous in terms of money, but prosperous just in terms of our life itself. Now, if we are compromising the sadhana, the practice routines that we are supposed to participate in and engage in every day, when we compromise that, we are actually eroding life. And there's so often we compromise it, we give it less importance. Why? Just because we have more time, no time for it. We have more time, we have more priority for running after money or running after this act or that act, which we think is more important. Now, when we are compromising the sadhana, we are not engaging in the sadhana. That's absolutely an act of eroding our lives, not giving enough value to life itself, and not just sadhana as in this sadhana, but whatever sadhana, whatever is the real essence of your life. When you do that, when you compromise that in order for something else, you're actually sleeping about the fact, about the value of your life itself. And that's what I say, that's what is a typical, and that's just one example. There are so many such examples. One typical example of how we sleep as we are awake. We think we are awake, but actually we are sleeping. So that's why we say this is a practice, or this is a sadhana paddhati, or Karmyoga for 21st Century's Fit for Life program is just a process of waking up from waking up. There is no end to how awakened you can be. That's all for today, friends. Take it easy and take care. Namaskar.